You're alone. You don't know how long you've been walking. Your shirt is soaked, clinging to your skin from a mix of sweat and humidity. The air is heavy. Every breath tastes like damp earth and vegetation. You push past vines, thorns, branches that seem alive, each one tugging at you, trying to slow you down. You're in the middle of a tropical jungle. No map, no signal. No one knows where you are. Just you and your knife. Now stop right here. Breathe. This moment, that decision to stop moving, is the first real thing you've done right since waking up in this place. The jungle isn't like a desert or an island. It's alive, constantly moving. No open horizon, no clear path. The more you push through blindly, the more likely you are to get hurt, lost, or worse. So you pause, you crouch beneath a giant fern. Mosquitoes buzz around your ears. Something rustles a few feet away. Lizard maybe, could be a monkey, could be something bigger, but it doesn't matter right now. The only thing that matters is this: you're still in control. Here's the truth. People think survival is about tools, gear, tricks, but that's not what's gonna keep you alive. What's gonna keep you alive is your ability to slow down and think. So you sit still, you listen, you start to really hear the jungle for the first time, the deep croaks of distant frogs, the rhythmic drips of water from leaves overhead, the way the trees sway in their own rhythm. Quiet but never silent. You can feel the heat radiating off your skin, but beneath the discomfort, there's something deeper, something steady. And from here, we begin. You take inventory. One knife, no food, no clean water, no fire. You have your clothes, your boots, if you're lucky. That's it. Your brain starts asking questions. Where am I going to sleep? Where will I find water? What should I be afraid of? Am I already in danger? Answer them slowly. The very first step before any of that is regaining control over your mind. Panic kills more people in survival situations than any snake, any fall, any starvation. It makes people run, it makes people shout, it makes them waste energy, daylight, direction, hydration, all without realizing it. But you're not doing that. You've already taken the first step. You stopped walking. You let the world settle. You gave yourself the chance to listen to the situation instead of reacting to it. This jungle is going to be your home for a while, maybe days, maybe weeks. So you start building a relationship with it, not out of fear, but out of necessity. This isn't an enemy. It's just a place. The rules are different here, but there are rules, and you're going to learn them. First, you need a base, somewhere safe, somewhere dry, not just to sleep, but to think. You find a ridge, not too high, not too low, away from where water collects, but close enough that you can hear it. You spot some broadleaf trees that might offer shelter. You take note of animal tracks in the mud, avoid them. That tells you where the creatures go and where you shouldn't. You start clearing space. Not a lot, just enough for your body to lie flat. Use your knife carefully, cut slow, keep your movements efficient. You're not in a hurry anymore. Every drop of sweat is your body's water. Every unnecessary motion is wasted energy. Out here, survival is economy. You notice how green everything is. Shades of green you never paid attention to before. Dark emerald moss climbing the trunks, neon green vines spiraling downward, leaves big enough to wrap yourself in like a blanket. And you realize something. This place wants to grow. It wants to take back everything, every inch of ground, every tree, every corpse. You're not here to conquer it. You're here to move with it. You make yourself small. You blend in. You stay quiet. Eventually, you build a little platform, just raised enough to stay off the wet ground. A few logs, a frame, some stripped vines to hold it together. Overhead, you tie broad leaves in a crisscross pattern, natural rain cover. The jungle has plenty of materials, you just have to see them for what they are. Once that's done, you sit again, you look up, daylight fades faster. Here, by the time the sun is dipping low, the whole forest shifts. The air cools just a bit. The insects change tone. Night animals begin their movement. You're tired, but not in a bad way. In a full body way, you feel your limbs. You feel the weight of every choice you made since stopping. You didn't find food yet. You didn't find water yet. But you're safe, and that's enough for today. Your knife rests beside you, still sharp, still yours. It's not just a tool, it's a promise. As long as you have it, you can carve your place out here. Tomorrow you'll hunt water. You'll learn about plants. You'll find fire. But tonight, you rest. And for now, in the middle of the deep green world, you are not lost. You are alive. The darkness in the jungle isn't like night in the city. There are no distant lights, no glowing windows, no hum of cars in the distance. When night falls here, it's absolute. Black, pressing, the kind of dark that makes you feel like the world has folded in around you. But your senses shift. Your eyes stop being useful. So your ears take over, you hear the jungle breathing, chittering insects, shrieking birds, the slow groan of trees settling into place. Somewhere far off, something lets out a call, long, guttural, unfamiliar. You don't react, you've accepted it, you're a part of this place now. You stay low on your platform, curl into yourself. The leaves you placed overhead do their job well enough to block the first soft drops of rain. It's not a storm, just the jungle exhaling moisture into the sky and letting it fall back down. The rhythm is soft, steady, you start to feel it as a pulse. The forest isn't just alive, it is life. Uninterrupted, untamed, unfiltered. The night is long, but it passes. And when morning finally comes, it doesn't arrive with bright light. It creeps in, pale gray bleeds into green, and the sounds shift again. The birds start first, then the monkeys, then the low rustle of leaves as the creatures of the dark retreat and the daytime ones take their place. You sit up, muscles stiff, clothes still damp. You check your knife, still there, still sharp, and your mind somehow is calmer than the day before. You've survived a night in the jungle. Now comes the next truth: water. You can live without food, you can scrape by without fire, but without water, 3 days, maybe 4, that's the limit. And with this heat, that limit shrinks fast. You climb down and begin again. You remember what you heard last night. A faint trickle somewhere beyond the trees. You follow it, moving slow, eyes scanning for signs. Damp ground, clusters of certain plants, the sound of insects that hover near water. Eventually, you find it. A small stream, maybe 2 feet wide, crystal clear, moving just fast enough to stay clean. You crouch, examine it. No algae, no dead insects, no animal droppings upstream. You drink in handfuls. The water is warm, but it tastes like survival. You can feel your body taking it in, every cell waking up again. You fill the pit of your stomach, then wash your face, your arms. You stand there a moment still, the jungle wrapped around you like a cocoon. This stream is life. Everything changes now. You start thinking clearer. Next, you gather leaves, thick, waxy ones. You fold them into cones, set them in the sun to dry, harden. Makeshift containers. You find hollow bamboo. You fill it. You're not just surviving now, you're planning ahead. You follow the stream back, not in a straight line, but in circles, widening your mental map. Every strange tree, every rock formation, every shift in the canopy, you store it, The jungle is a maze, but not an impossible one. You don't need GPS, you need attention. When you return to your shelter, the sun is higher, the heat is rising again, but you've done it, you've claimed water, and now you sit, you breathe again. This place no longer feels hostile. Not exactly. It's dangerous, yes, but not personal. It doesn't care if you live or die. That's a gift, in a way. No judgment, just nature, unfiltered. You survived the first 24 hours. The hard part wasn't the shelter, wasn't the water. It was managing your mind, keeping the panic out, moving with intention, learning to see the jungle not as a trap, but as a system, a living, breathing system with patterns, risks, and resources. And you realize you're not waiting to be saved anymore. You're learning how to live. Your hands are stained with dirt and chlorophyll. Your boots are scraped from tree roots, and your shoulders ache from tension you didn't even know you were holding. But underneath that soreness, there's something else. Stability. You've stopped reacting. You've started adapting. The jungle hasn't changed, but you have. You move differently now. Every footstep is deliberate. You're not barging through branches anymore. You're flowing around them. When you hear movement in the brush, you don't flinch. You assess. You're part of the environment now, not just an outsider, but a participant. You start paying attention to more than just the loud sounds. The silence matters too. The sudden stillness when birds go quiet. The way the air shifts before rain. The smell of crushed leaves underfoot. And what that tells you about animal activity. Later that day, you spot fruit hanging from a tree. You don't rush it. First, you look around the base. Are there animal droppings, half-eaten pieces? That's your first clue. If animals are eating it and surviving, maybe you can too. Then you break one open. Smell it. Dab a bit of juice on your lip. Wait. No burning, no tingling. You take a small bite, chew, wait again. Still nothing. You've just passed your first jungle food test. You don't gorge, you gather. A few pieces, enough to carry. The goal isn't to fill your stomach. The goal is to build a routine. One step, one observation, one adaptation at a time. As the day stretches on, you feel time bending, not dragging, just shifting. You're no longer measuring hours by the clock, but by light, temperature, and the behavior of the forest around you. When it starts to cool again, you return to shelter. You add to it, reinforce the corners, layer extra leaves overhead. You build a raised rack out of sticks to keep your gathered food off the ground. You even carve notches into a piece of wood to track your days. Simple, methodical, almost ceremonial. This is how humans survived for thousands of years, not with luxury, with rhythm, with observation, with patience. And tonight, as you sit under your makeshift roof, you don't feel like a lost person anymore. You feel like a human being reintroduced to nature. The stars appear, faint through the canopy. The air is cooler now, but still thick with scent, earth, leaf rot, distant flowers. The night insects are loud, but not overwhelming. They're familiar now, like background music. You look at your knife. It's not just a tool, it's a mirror. Every scratch, every speck of sap and dirt, proof of the choices you've made. You're shaping your environment, and in return it's shaping you. Not softening, not comforting, but refining. You close your eyes, you're still alert, but not afraid. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. Maybe a storm, maybe a predator, maybe sickness. But you're ready to meet them, not with panic, but with process, observation, adaptation, action. This is no longer a story about survival. It's the beginning of something else. At dawn the light wakes you before the sounds do. It bleeds into the canopy as a dull glow, turning the green world a shade brighter. Your body rises with the rhythm of the place, not because of an alarm, but because the air changes. It's cooler for just a moment, a breath of stillness before the jungle exhales its heat. You stretch slowly. Your joints crack. Your back reminds you that your bed is made of sticks and vines, but your mind is clear. No part of you is waiting anymore. You're not hoping to be rescued. You're not bargaining with fate. You've already crossed the threshold. The jungle isn't a test to pass. It's a system to understand. You move. Your body knows the path to the stream now. Feet land in the right places. Eyes catch the shifts in light, the patterns of shadow. You collect water in your makeshift containers, bamboo tubes, folded leaves, and bring it back. It's automatic, efficient. You gather firewood, dry bark hidden beneath thick roots. You split it, keep the shavings dry under your shelter. Fire isn't optional now. It's your next anchor. Boiling water means safety. Smoke means insects keep their distance. Light means predators keep to the dark. You build a bow drill from scratch. It takes hours. Your first attempt fails. Your hands blister. Your patience breaks. You start again. You carve with more care. Shape the spindle properly. Keep your materials dry. This time the smoke curls in your hands. The ember glows. You feed it with your breath, not hurried, not hopeful, just steady. The flame catches, and for the first time, you're not cold. You're not in danger. You're not surviving. You're living. The smoke drifts upward, and for a second, you watch it disappear into the jungle canopy like a signal to no one. That's when it hits you. You've built more than a fire. You've built presence. You're no longer reacting, no longer asking how to escape. You're asking better questions now. What will I learn tomorrow? How can I make this stronger? What patterns did I miss? This is not comfort. This is not safety. This is clarity, earned, not given. You sharpen your knife, you reinforce your shelter, you strip bark for cordage, you dig for tubers, you recognize edible plants by leaf shape and placement, you start creating systems, not just reacting to the jungle, but building with it. The fear is gone, replaced by structure, by rhythm, by control. And in that something deeper, peace. By the fourth day, the silence inside your head is louder than the jungle around you. No panic, no noise, just tasks. Routine has taken shape. You wake, you drink, you tend the fire, you check the perimeter, you watch the sky. Every movement has purpose. Every decision has consequence. There's no room for guessing. Everything you do either feeds your survival or threatens it. You speak to no one, but you're not alone. You listen to the wind shift. You watch ants march in rigid lines up the tree bark. You see the same bird land on the same branch every morning. These are your signals. They tell you more than words ever could. The jungle gives nothing for free. But it does give. You find a grove where the fruit is safe, reliable. You mark the trees with simple carvings, /1 for ripe, 2 for still growing. You build a second storage rack and start drying strips of plant fiber. You twist cordage, strong, flexible. Now you can lash tools, set snares, bind shelter frames. Everything is becoming scalable, repeatable. You're building redundancy. Later, while collecting branches, you find tracks in the mud, ungulate, fresh, probably top here. Harmless if left alone, but a reminder you're not alone in the food chain, not even close. You don't panic, you adjust. You gather thorny branches, you make a perimeter, low, jagged, irritating to anything that doesn't walk upright. You build a noise trap, shells strung from vines, primitive but effective. If something crosses that line in the night, you'll hear it. At dusk it rains, a real storm this time. Sheets of water slam the canopy. Thunder cracks above the trees. The whole jungle sways. But you don't run for cover. You are the cover. Your shelter holds. The water slides off the roof you built with your hands. You sit inside, legs crossed, fire flickering beside you, the smell of wet leaves filling the air. You are not wet. You are not shivering. You are not afraid. You listen to the storm and realize what it means. Proof of control. Nature moved. You didn't break. This is the threshold most don't cross. Survival isn't just food, water, shelter. It's replacing reaction with strategy, replacing hope with process. It's the transition from asking, how do I stay alive today, to how do I shape this world around me? That shift is the beginning of dominance. Not dominance over the jungle, but over the chaos inside your own mind. You're no longer the victim of an accident. You're no longer waiting to be found. You've become something the jungle respects, quiet, observant, efficient, relentless, and tomorrow you'll do it all again, but better. The jungle doesn't care how tired you are. It rains when it wants, the sun scorches when it rises, and every inch of ground is alive with rot, insects, and movement. That means your first shelter, just branches and leaves, isn't enough anymore. Now it's time to build for the long term, not for comfort, for survival. Start with elevation. The jungle floor is never dry. Even when it hasn't rained, moisture rises through the soil like steam. Insects, parasites, bacteria, they all live in that wet layer. So you go up, a foot off the ground, minimum. More if the terrain floods. Use thick branches as foundation beams. Lash them between trees if possible, or dig post holes if not. Use vines as rope, twisted, dried, tight. You're not making a bed, you're making separation from decay. Next, airflow. The heat here doesn't drop much even at night. Your body loses more water through sweat than through exertion. If your shelter traps heat, it becomes a coffin. So keep it open. Let air move. Walls are optional, partial at best. Focus on a strong roof, not enclosed sides. Let the wind flow across your body while you sleep. Your roof is your lifeline. Rain resistance is everything. Tropical storms don't just drizzle, they hit hard, fast, and sideways. You need a roof that channels water, not one that collects it. Use palm leaves, banana leaves, or anything wide and waxy. Layer them from bottom to top, shingle style, angled so water flows downward and out. Tie them tightly. Gaps are failure points. Build it once. Build it correctly. Then test it. Pour water over the top. Wait for the leaks. Patch them now, not later. No tarp, no nails. Just what the jungle gives you and what you take back with skill. You'll notice something as you build. The shelter becomes more than a structure. It becomes a boundary, a known space in an unknown world. You return to it after scouting. You sleep under it. You sit inside it during rain. Every stick you place reduces the chaos by 1 degree. Around your shelter, you clear brush. You remove potential snake nests. You eliminate ant trails. You scrape the soil and pack it tight. This is your perimeter. This is where the rules begin. Inside, you organize. A place for water containers, a place for tools, a corner for firewood, dry and elevated, everything predictable, everything repeatable. This is what the early humans understood. You don't build shelter for luxury. You build it to mark a shift in power. The jungle still owns everything around you, but this 10 by 10 patch of cleared earth, this roof made of leaves, this platform lashed together with vines, this part is yours. And now it's holding, not perfectly, but enough. Water is not optional. It's the first limit your body will hit. In the jungle, it surrounds you, drips from leaves, pools in the soil, runs in streams, but that doesn't make it safe. The wrong water doesn't dehydrate you, it kills you. You've already found a basic stream. That's not enough. You need multiple collection methods. Redundancy is survival. Dew collection happens early. Wake before the sun. Take large leaves, smooth bark, or cloth. Anything that can catch and absorb moisture. Tie them to branches overnight. At dawn, wipe them down into a container. Do it every morning. Small yield, but consistent. Vine tapping is next. Not all vines contain water, but many do. Slice one a few feet from the ground. If it bleeds clear liquid, hold your container underneath. Let gravity do the work. If the sap burns your lip or smells foul, discard it. Safe water vines usually taste neutral and flow freely. Bitter, milky, or sticky is unsafe. Solar stills take more time. Dig a hole. Place green leaves inside. Set a container in the center. Cover with plastic if you have it, or improvise with a large leaf canopy. Anchor the edges and place a small weight in the center to form a drip point. As the sun heats the hole, condensation will collect on the underside and drip into your container. Slow process, but clean water. Now purification. The standard, boiling. Always boil stream or pooled water. 10 minutes rolling boil. If you're at altitude or uncertain, go longer. Build a fire that can hold a steady burn. Use bamboo sections or carved wood to boil if no metal container exists. Watch the water closely, don't waste it. Second option, charcoal filtration. Burn hardwood until it breaks into clean black carbon. Crush it. Layer a bamboo tube or rolled bark with fine cloth or moss, then sand, then charcoal. Pour water slowly. Charcoal removes toxins, absorbs chemical impurities. Not perfect, but safer than nothing. Look for water safety indicators. Positive signs, moving water, no algae, no animal waste nearby, birds nesting nearby, aquatic life visible. Negative signs, stagnant pools, dead insects, oil sheen on the surface, strong smell, bright green growth, bones nearby. Never drink directly from pools. Never trust rain catchment from dirty surfaces. Never assume clarity equals safety. You build a system, dew at dawn, vines before noon, stream collection midday, stills working through evening, boiling and filtering nightly. The body needs 3 to 4 liters minimum per day in the jungle. Without this system, you weaken. You lose clarity, mistakes happen, infection follows. With this system, you stabilize. You're not just surviving, you're now in control of the most fundamental requirement for staying alive. The jungle hides direction. Dense canopy erases the sky. Trails vanish behind you in minutes. Move without a plan and you circle back on yourself. Move without awareness and you disappear. Start with tracking without tools. You won't have a compass. You won't have GPS. Use your senses. Pick a fixed point, hill, large tree, rock face, and move toward it. As you pass, find the next marker. Never lose sight of the last. This is leapfrogging, constant orientation using physical landmarks. Works in open jungle, works under canopy. Pay attention to sunlight, even filtered through leaves. Direction is there. Morning light, east. Evening light, west. Midday, straight overhead. Watch how shadows fall on trunks. Movement over hours reveals consistent patterns. You don't need precision, you need reference. Natural navigation markers are built, not found. As you move, break small branches at waist height, stack rocks, Carve marks into tree bark. Repeat patterns. Always the same mark. That tells you where you've been, what's a path, and what's not. Avoid using loose objects. Rain and animals will erase them. Use what stays anchored. Smell matters. Certain trees emit strong odors. Flowing water carries scent. Wind direction tells you where campfires or animals are. When sound vanishes and smell changes suddenly, you've crossed a boundary. Stop, reassess, avoid hazardous terrain at all costs. Swamps seem passable, collapse underfoot. Rotting vegetation conceals holes and predators. Steep slopes, rain turns them into slides. You fall, you break bones, you die. Dense underbrush looks empty, hides snakes, insects, traps of root networks. Game trails, paths are tempting. Animals use them, so do predators. Avoid them unless tracking prey, and even then from the edge. Never cross unknown water in haste. Depth lies, color lies, bottoms vanish. When in doubt, climb. A few feet of elevation changes perspective. Look for tree lines, water courses, unnatural clearings. Orient yourself to gravity. Water flows down, ridges rise. Use that to find paths, not shortcuts. You don't rush in the jungle. Every step is information. Every choice changes the map. Get lost once, you waste a day. Get lost twice, you never return. Hunger clouds judgment, weakens muscle, slows thought. But eating the wrong plant doesn't just fail to help, it poisons. Nausea, paralysis, internal bleeding. You're not foraging for flavor. You're foraging to function. Start with recognizing safe tropical plants. Look for high-calorie staples, coconut, water, meat, oil. Young green ones are safer for drinking. Older ones are dense with fat and fiber. Shells for tools, husks for fire. Banana and plantain, easy to identify by the massive leaves. Fruits grow in clusters. If unripe, boil or roast to soften. Papaya, oval, green to yellow skin. Seeds inside are black and round. Flesh is safe raw. Seeds can be chewed in moderation, peppery and mildly antimicrobial. Breadfruit, large, round, bumpy, high starch content. Roast until the outer skin burns and the inside softens. Also safe. Bamboo shoots. Boil thoroughly to remove bitterness and toxins. Do not eat raw. Young palm hearts, labor-intensive to extract, but nutrient-rich. Harvest only from non-critical palms. Cutting kills the tree. Use caution-based logic with unknowns. General rules. Avoid plants with milky sap, bright red or white berries, or sharp odors. Avoid anything with three-leaf clusters, glossy surface, or bitter taste. Avoid mushrooms unless you're absolutely certain. Tropical fungi include lethal varieties indistinguishable from safe ones. If necessary, use gradual testing protocol. Rub a small piece on your skin. Wait. Rub on your lips. Wait. Place in mouth without swallowing. Chew 30 seconds. Spit. Wait an hour. Swallow a small piece. Wait 8 hours. Increase quantity slowly over time, only if no adverse reactions at any stage. Never forage under time pressure. Starving doesn't mean rushing. Mistakes kill. Now establish a sustainable foraging pattern. Divide area into zones. Rotate them every few days. Don't strip entire patches. Take only mature fruit. Leave roots and growth nodes. Mark trees that yield consistently. Create a mental catalog of what grows, when, and where. Harvest early in the day, before heat softens and spoils the fruit. Store in shaded containers, elevated to prevent pests. Cook or boil where possible. Many plants, even edible, are safer when cooked. For protein, supplement plant calories with insects, eggs, or fish. Plants won't sustain muscle mass long-term on their own. No random grazing, no guessing. Foraging is not hunting. It's a discipline built on memory, repetition, and restraint. The jungle's full of insects. Most won't bother you much, but some will bite, some will make you itch like hell, and a few can get you seriously sick. Parasites are worse, you won't see them coming. Larvae, bloodsuckers, skin burrowers. This isn't about comfort. It's about staying ahead of the problems before they start. Here's what you do. First, cover up. Mud works better than you'd think. Rub it on your arms, legs, neck, anywhere exposed. It cools you down, hides your scent, and blocks direct contact. It'll flake off after a while, so reapply when needed. If you find strong-smelling plants, citronella, lemongrass, wild basil, crush the leaves and rub them on your skin. Just test a small patch first. If it stings or burns, don't use it. But if it smells sharp or bitter and feels fine, it's probably helping. After you've got a fire going, use the ash. Rub it into your wrists, ankles, neck. It throws off ticks, fleas, ants, especially helpful if you're moving through thick brush. And always use smoke to your advantage. This isn't just about light or cooking. Smoke keeps biting insects away. Burn green wood, damp leaves, or resin to get thick clouds. If you're staying put, build smoldering bundles and place them around your camp. Fire near your sleeping area helps too. Just keep it controlled. Jungle wood catches fast. Keep your camp clean and dry, no standing water. Even a few inches in a leaf or bamboo shoot is enough to bring mosquitoes. Tip everything out. Keep your gear off the ground. Food, clothes, even tools. If anything stays wet too long, it turns into a breeding ground. Lay stuff out in the sun during the day. Watch where you camp and where you step. Hollow logs, root systems, old stumps. Avoid them. That's ant territory. If you see organized trails or constant movement, steer clear. Wasp and bee nests, gray, papery, hanging from branches. Don't mess with them. Keep your distance. And near water, be ready for leeches and ticks. Long sleeves, tucked pants, do full body checks twice a day, especially under the arms, behind the knees, and along your waistline. When it's time to sleep, stay off the ground. Always, even a few inches up is better than nothing, and shake out your bedding every night. Out here, insects aren't just annoying, they're constant. You won't avoid them completely, but if you stay ahead of them, they won't break you down. It's not about killing them, it's about staying out of their way and not giving them a reason to come looking for you. Out here, fire isn't a luxury, it's your reset button. If you can keep it going, everything else gets easier. So when you're working with damp wood, don't rush it. Build it smart. Cut from standing dead trees. The stuff lying on the ground is soaked all the way through. Split the wood open. What you want is the dry core. That's what you're going to use for kindling. Shave it down. Get a pile going before you even strike a spark. Now, build yourself a base. Lay green sticks on the ground. That way, your fire isn't sucking moisture from the soil. Start small. Dry fibers, shavings, thin twigs. Feed it slow. Let the heat from your first flame dry out the next layer of fuel before you throw it on. If it rains, protect your tinder like it's food. Keep it wrapped in big leaves, stuffed inside bamboo if you have it. Keep some in your pack, near your body if needed. Dry it by the fire whenever you can, even if you're not using it right away. And don't let the fire die at night. Bury hot coals in ash, cover them with bark or dry leaves. In the morning, all it takes is a breath and some fresh tinder to bring it back. Fire out here is more than warmth or light. It's safety, it's clean water. It's the thing that keeps the edge off the jungle. Keep it alive and it'll do the same for you. Collect dry inner bark from dead standing wood. Scrape it into fibers. Store in dry pouch. Gather bird nests, grass bundles, coconut husk. Dry in sun or near fire. Keep multiple types. Layer coarse and fine. Protect all tinder. Wrap in large leaves, seal in bamboo, or hang in shelter rafters. When dry materials are rare, manufacture dryness. Heat damp bark over embers, not direct flame. Peel layers until inner fibers are exposed. Dry while working on other tasks. Wet wood strategies depend on control and patience. Never collect fallen soaked branches. Cut from dead standing trees. Wood inside is often dry. Split logs to expose the core. Shave kindling from the dry center. Build a platform fire. Layer green branches on the ground. Stack fuel on top. Prevents absorption from wet earth. Start with small dry tinder. Add thin twigs, gradually scale fuel. Heat drives moisture out of the next layer. Fire must be continuous. Reignite daily. Bank coals overnight. Bury in ash. Insulate with bark. Morning flame comes faster. No spark tools, no accelerants, just control. In wet jungle, fire is your edge. Without it, everything tilts against you. With it, you reset the balance. Alright, once you've got the basics locked in, water, shelter, fire, food, you need to start thinking about getting out. You're not here to play jungle survival long term. The goal is to get seen, and out here that takes planning. First thing you want to set up is smoke. Your regular fire isn't enough. You need thick white smoke, something that actually shows up against all that green. Best way to do that is to throw green leaves or damp stuff on top of a hot fire. It won't burn bright, it'll smolder, and that's what you want. Slow, steady, visible from above. But it only works if you time it right, so keep a bundle of green material ready. If you hear a plane or anything unusual, drop that on the fire right away. You've got seconds. Don't waste them fiddling around trying to get things started. If you've got something reflective, a mirror, a polished blade, even the back of a metal spoon, you can use sunlight to flash a signal. It doesn't take much. Just catch the light and aim it at the sky or an open spot through the canopy. Do it in bursts, 3 flashes, then pause, then again. That kind of pattern stands out. If someone's scanning, they're more likely to notice that than a random glint. Now, for longer term or passive signaling, build something on the ground. Clear a big area, 10 feet across at least, and lay out something that looks unnatural. Straight lines, sharp angles, make an SOS, an arrow, even a big X. Use whatever contrasts with the ground, light rocks on dark dirt, stripped branches on green foliage. Keep it clean. The jungle will reclaim it fast, so you'll need to check on it every day. But here's the thing. Don't start focusing on rescue until you've stabilized. If you're still scrambling for water or you're barely sleeping, now's not the time. Rescue signaling takes energy. If you burn out chasing shadows, you'll mess up your core routine, and that's what keeps you alive. You'll know when it's time to shift. You'll feel it. Your camp's holding. You've got food coming in. You can go a couple days without worrying. That's when you start signaling, not before. Because surviving is step 1. But getting out, that's the real goal. Out here, it's not the hunger or the heat that breaks most people. It's the silence, the stillness, the feeling that time isn't moving and maybe no one's coming. That's what eats at you. You have to hold your mind together, and that means giving it structure. Start with time, no watch, doesn't matter. Use light, morning haze, midday heat, afternoon shadow, those are your markers. Carve notches into wood, mark each day, build rhythm. It doesn't have to be precise, it just has to exist. Keep a routine, doesn't matter if it's collecting firewood, sharpening tools, walking the perimeter, just do it the same way every day. Predictability gives your brain something to stand on. Without it, the days blur, and that's when you start slipping. Talk out loud if you need to. Narrate what you're doing. It's not crazy. It keeps your thinking sharp. Silence for too long warps your sense of self. Keep your mind active even if there's no one around to hear it. Set long-term goals. Don't think, how do I make it through the week? Think, how do I improve this shelter by tomorrow? How do I store 3 days worth of food? Every task should lead somewhere. Forward motion, even small, keeps you grounded. There will be moments where it feels endless, where everything's quiet and heavy and pointless. That's normal. Let it come, then get back up. Go check your traps, fix your signal markers, stir the coals, keep going. You don't survive this by being the strongest or smartest. You survive it by being consistent. And if you've made it this far, day after day, fire after fire, step after step, then you're already doing it. Out here, survival isn't about escape, it's about control of your mind, of your actions, of the space around you. Keep moving, keep thinking, you're still here, and that means you're still winning.